So welcome everybody. Small group today. It's the last session of today. I'll do it in English because I don't know if on the video streaming there might be some English persons listening to this. So I hope this is fine with you. Oder ich kann es auch in Deutsch machen, aber die Fragen dann English. I think it's fine. Okay, thanks. Welcome everybody. My name is Steven Bailey. I'm Chief Strategy Officer from AOE, and today I would like to show you a little bit about how we do omnichannel and why we do this, for reasons why, and maybe I give you a first introduction of AOE, who we are, just to give you a bit of a picture what the company is all about, and by the end of during the session, what I understood, there's an app, so you can ask me questions. Or even though when you're sitting on the video streaming, you can ask me apps as well, on the app as well, some questions that will sign up here. And happy to answer a few questions as soon as you're ready. So taking it further, a little bit about AOE. We are about a company of 300 plus employees. We do about 30 million. And we've been in this context as a system integrator, so over 10 years. We have 7 locations on a global space, based in Germany. We are also Adobe business partner. We are for Magento, the leading source global partner at that point, and also pretty fast growing in the past at that point, and still in the future as well. Just a few customers that we work for. It's like Hankook, Panasonic, Sony Entertainment Network. Just currently for Deutsche Telekom, introducing fiber to home into Germany at that point. For Frankfurt Airport, building a shopping mall, and this I will be talking about to you. Calling about omnichannel, sort of like looking at all those retailers that happen to be at a shopping mall for passengers, like over 60 million that come to this and fly off at that point. Also for Heathrow, for Johnson Control, for Singapore Airlines, this is pretty recently, we just introduced that after being on a stealth mode for the last 12 months, just 2 weeks ago, had a big press release. I will tap into that as well to give a bit of an idea what this is all about and why omnichannel is so recently. So what do? We really stand for like converting customers into a data-driven commerce solution or doing data-driven commerce and marketplace solutions, and that's why we build data-driven business portals. The status quo of a company usually lies at that point to say like, hey, I have an IT capacity, and we tap into the 4 topics that we know from Gartner, and also that we have been delivering projects. And it's like the digital competition that is growing, even though with an airline at that point, the mobile, which we see as a glue between everything, offline and online, big data analysis, and cloud and SaaS solution, last but not least. I will talk about the omnichannel commerce and the opportunities that travel retail have at an airport at first, and then I will tap into what Singapore Airlines is doing right now, transforming from a ticket airline into an e-commerce airline, and also what kind of role Akeneo as a PIM solution, where we are partner with, just to give a bit of an idea about that. But first of all, I will stop talking right now. I'll just give you a quick introduction into a video, talking about what we've been doing so far for the airports like Heathrow, Frankfurt, Auckland, just give you a better picture. I think having a video well done gives a better idea about this whole solution. Then we tap into some facts and figures and reasons why, because of the business case, why did these customers tap into an omnichannel solution as such. So here's the video.
It's time to wake up. There are now over 5 billion mobile users in the world. More people are more connected more of the time than ever before. It affects every decision, changing their behavior, expectations, and every customer journey. This connectivity lets people shop anytime, wherever they are.
We at Mindset have been interviewing travelers all around the world since over a decade, and the most dramatic change is actually the shopping behavior. Nowadays, travelers want to shop 24/7 on their mobile phone, and that's what AOE is offering today, and that's what consumers want, and even more so tomorrow.
So, when it comes to retail, the old certainties have gone. Online retailers have hit everyone's profits, both on the high street and at airports. But there is a way to ensure airports can be relevant to passengers using a digital e-commerce omnichannel marketplace that really works. This provides a genuine window of opportunity for airports through what we call the new quaternity of travel retail. This is a powerful collaboration between airports, airlines, brands, and duty-free retailers, driven by the latest tech. AOE's Omnichannel Multi-Merchant Marketplace, or OM3, provides airports with a turnkey end-to-end e-commerce marketplace that enables airports to personalize the passenger shopping experience. The latest research has shown that 79% of airport purchases are now planned in advance, the opposite of previous assumptions. OM3 helps people do this easily, offering more choices on and offline before they travel, as well as during and after their trip. AOE pioneered OM3 at Frankfurt Airport. It's no ordinary airport, with 160,000 passengers passing through each day. This hub is also the biggest shopping mall in Germany.
Meiner Meinung nach gibt es eine starke Kausalität zwischen dem stationären Einzelhandel und dem Online-Einzelhandel. Es kommt immer mehr dazu, dass sich gerade die jüngeren Käufergruppen dazu entscheiden, Informationen aus dem Web zu ziehen, sich zu informieren und dann sehr zielgerichtet zu einer Kaufentscheidung kommen. Das ist eine der wesentlichen Voraussetzungen, um den, wir nennen das Spend per Pax, entsprechend zu erhöhen. Mit dem Aufbau einer Online-Handelsplattform geben wir dem Kunden ein einmaliges Einkaufserlebnis. Er kann Produkte sich online aussuchen, anschauen, er kann sich informieren und er kann sich die Produkte auch nach Hause schicken lassen.
Using customer data and digitalization, OM3 helps unite the entire spectrum of commercial services into a single customer view. Of course, none of this happens by magic. This is Kian Gould, founder and CEO of AOE. It has so far taken more than 30,000 developer days to build an ever-advancing OM3 platform. More than 100 developers are building new solutions for a growing airport and airline customer base.
OM3 is a true omni-channel multi-retailer marketplace that can be customized to your airport's exact needs. The platform can be accessed through the airport's app, through the website, through any third-party channels, APIs, and so on, so it's truly omni-channel. Airports have very limited accessibility to their passengers before they actually travel. So this is where we come in with a marketplace that gives the passengers access to the entire offering of the airport pre-flight, while they're at the airport, and even after they have arrived. By collaborating with airlines and other marketplaces like Alibaba, Booking.com, and so on, airports can tap into traffic sources they never had access to previously.
So what do the retailers think?
We at Heinemann believe very much in the multi-channel approach, and that means in the power of digital. Working with AOE on general projects, but also specifically on the Frankfurt project, it has brought us to the new word of prototyping, which means testing and learning. For us in this project, it's very important to find out where digital customers have maybe a completely different need to those customers browsing around at the airport.
We've seen some great results at Frankfurt. AOE is helping deliver a 230% increase in basket value versus offline retail and 35% cross-selling. That's compared to the -5% currently happening in retail. London's Heathrow Airport is also taking the first step to creating a holistic offering that covers much more than just retail. Hey, remember this guy? This is Charles. He's on his way to Terminal 2 to fly to New York to meet a new client. He's a busy man, so on his way to the airport, he's browsing for gifts for his niece. He knows there's a Harrods store in the airport, and the Heathrow app helps him find what he's looking for there. So he places an order and then collects it from the store when he gets to the airport.
At Heathrow, our vision is to give passengers a seamless digital experience throughout their journey. We've partnered with AOE to give passengers through Heathrow Boutique the opportunity to browse an unrivaled range of over 20,000 products, many of them luxury items, which they can then reserve and collect as they travel through the airport. This is part of our overall vision to give passengers the opportunity to order all of the different products and services that we have available for them at Heathrow.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, there's an even more ambitious take on omni-channel multi-retailer commerce and fulfillment coming to life in Auckland. Pen Leon's been visiting friends here, and now she's heading home to Shanghai. She really loves to shop when she's traveling, but you can see that. The OM3 platform isn't just for Auckland Airport itself. It also covers over 200 stores in downtown Auckland. The great thing is, she's got everything she wanted duty-free, and the store will deliver to the airport so she can pick it all up at the gate. And now she can relax, with plenty of time to check out what the airport has to offer. And if she still thinks she's missed something, she can simply buy it directly in Auckland's The Mall online store and collect it together with her downtown purchases in one simple transaction.
The vision for our online mall is to create a virtual marketplace where our customers can shop the best of airport retail when and where it's convenient for them. A key advantage of the proposition we have is that you can shop multiple different airport retailers and check out with a single convenient basket. One of the other advantages of partnering with AOE and the OM3 platform is we have developed a solution which enables visitors to New Zealand to shop tax-free downtown and conveniently pick it up and collect it here at the airport.
So that's OM3. It's changing the way we travel, and it's a win-win-win solution for passengers, retailers, and airports. It genuinely reflects passengers' needs, and it delivers. Passengers want choice, speed, authenticity, and connectivity, and they want it now.
OM3 ticks all these boxes. It captures those micro moments in which a passenger makes a decision to become a purchaser or not. And it essentially extends the golden hour to a golden week or a golden month.
So how can AOE help you make your airport ready for the next generation of passengers? Well, we think we may have a few ideas that you might like.
Yeah, so this solution made us actually to the world #1 in the non-aviation revenue. And I would bring you through a few numbers and business cases. Why is this so, and what is this so? Why this omnichannel solution is such a vital business case for our customers as such. Not making us world's #1, but also having like customers like Singapore Airlines, Heathrow, Lufthansa, Auckland, as shown in the video. And also how we can transfer this then into other industries, which I will show by the end of the presentation. So as we all know, the mobile is actually the glue between offline and online. So we have like more than 4 hours daily spent on a mobile phone in Americas. We have the same 25 e-commerce made mobile in the US. And also like in China is approximately right at the moment 75%. So as we all know, mobile is the glue between off and online. And this disruption has begun also looking at the travel retail, which is very a comfortable space to be in because a lot of passengers go to an airline and travel with an airline or go with an airport to an airport and travel from there. So we have all those people coming like 80, 60 million at a day, at a year at that point. So literally revenues that you can tap into, and this is what the solution is all about. And the reason why we can see also, as we see like, yes, passenger growth is growing at that point, but what we can see like the spend per head as a passenger is really decreasing dramatically. And that's the point of doing this omnichannel solution. As we all are pretty comfortable using Amazon or eBay or like the Chinese, you can Alibaba. So this is the reason why people are looking into online solutions and bringing this then at an airport at that point, seeing the business case that is really deriving at that point really strongly. And on the other side, what we can see also from our partner mindset, looking at the customer journey at that point, we can see like 65% of potential purchases are actually done before getting to an airport or an airline. We can see like 32% at home, or maybe like 13% at the destination, or while I'm traveling there, or even though when I'm at the airport, at the security, we still have the same ability to order some things and have to have it gate delivered. So we're tapping into a 45-minute window to deliver these kind of products to wherever the person is sitting or going to, or sitting in a lounge at that point. And then, of course, like browsing and looking at the store is like more like looking at impulse driven. So what we can see, for example, a business case at Frankfurt Airport, they've been having there a Leica store, which has like a special edition of 40,000 euros at that point. And suddenly, as soon as we went live like 5 years ago, there were some Chinese people coming and buying like 5 a month and bringing them to China. So you're opening up again a few other kind of opportunities and revenue streams at that point. Or maybe cigars that might be ordered by Heinemann at that point. Or even though their wine, which is really good at Heinemann, even though this has increased. So the value of basket has increased from 75 euros up to nearly 175 or 200 euros in average, because it's cross and upselling and doing this omnichannel and giving, as the video showed, tapping into any kind of where a customer can have a touch point and maybe access and think about, oh, maybe I bring something back home from my mom or from my daughter or from my wife at that point. These are the stories that we have to look at. And this is where, as Kian said, like extending the golden hour to a week or even though a month. How does this work? We integrate into Amadeus, so we see the bookings reference number, and then we can tell like he's non-Schengen, Schengen, and then he can order these things via his checkout, and then we do, even though a multi-split payment, that even though purchasing products from various different retailers, as we have like 300 at the airport, like taking like 3 or 4 at the same time, splitting then the concession fee, giving this to Frankfurt Airport, and then spending the money into the accounts of our customers. And this is what we bring along in real time in a 45-minute window as soon as the customer touches the point and hits the button to do the checkout. What we also see at Heathrow Airport, just giving you a number, we sell like 5 expensive luxury watches like these per month, and it's going up to nearly to a week at some point at that thing. So even though maybe, and this is also why Heathrow has a very strong focus on luxury products compared, for example, like Fraport that have more like duty-free products, because they can see like not only the margin is much higher with luxury products, but also Chinese that are interested in purchasing because they have like a 3,000 euro or dollar spend in their pocket while they're on the trip. And they see this in Chinese, they can purchase it via Alibaba. And when they get into Heathrow or maybe to Frankfurt or other destinations, or like in Auckland, I get to that later, they buy literally the product where it is produced in that area because they trust it much more than purchasing on Alibaba. So it's again tapping into omnichannel at any point. For example, Auckland, as you saw, downtown shopping, this is a story about it. I mean, like you can purchase tax-free 20% off downtown. So the airport as a customer is extending literally its physical footprint from being a small airport, like covering like passengers like 2 and 3 times as much as the New Zealand population during the summertime, pouring in and purchasing lots of products. So they purchase a product downtown. The retailer is happy because of that 20%, he can give like 5-10% off to his customer. The customer is happy. The airport earns another 5%, and we get our revenues via license fees at that point compared totally to revenues that the customer does. So what we've seen there is like that some baskets have even like a value of 140,000 New Zealand US dollars. Why? Because Chinese, they purchase like 3 Rolexes. They have this then delivered by security to customs and security onto airside to a collection point. He doesn't have to secure it in his hotel safe and things like this. Another piece of convenience that it brings along. And this makes it really omnichannel at any point, wherever you find your customers to purchase these kind of products. The next big thing that is coming up is like, and which is pretty surprising. I don't think, maybe some of you have already noticed that flying with a plane, you get like these in-flight cards, and they purchase like brands and luxury products. Nobody buys it, so they pull in the in-flight trolleys, and they drive them out full at that point. That's a lot of weight that goes along. Today with Singapore Airlines, as we have rolled out the same solution as with airports, they have like 50% pre-order of their in-flight card, so delivered to seat. And even though at a 45-minute window before the customer gets to the plane, he even can still order a perfume or a bottle of wine at that point, and then he will get it served into his plane. By end of this year, it probably will be 100%. So in-flight, which is shopping, which actually is dead, is becoming alive again because of the omnichannel. And again, for example, a story like, oh, I'm flying first class. I don't like that wine that you have there that you're offering me. I might order like a 500 euro or dollar bottle of wine, and I get it served on my space when I'm sitting in first class, even though these conveniences are possible of doing so. And that's why we can see like Singapore Airlines is converting into an e-commerce airline. They're not only selling wine, but even though they sell a wine rack at that point, which is just mentioned to be like, happen to work with drop shipment. So it's not Singapore Airlines being a logistic person or having this in a big warehouse. It's like getting his partner in via API, and then even though drop shipping these kind of big goods in Singapore. What we can see today, of course, is the sort of kind of a no shopper that we have seen so far. And bringing this along, this is where also Akeneo taps in. It's one of the pieces of the solution in our architecture because it's all about product selection, it's about product data, and it's about the great services that we provide with that at that point. And looking at this and also products, I mean, it's like if things are planned driven and not impulse driven, product and product information and details are pretty vital to that in an omnichannel solution. What we can see with Asia, they are more like planned and not impulse. So this is mind shifting also for the retailers and the shopping malls at airports. And maybe even though in cities, or maybe also with Deutsche Bahn, they have to think about this. And this is where customers are getting more and more interested in, and we can see this because it's a solution, a marketplace solution within niches, within special customer journeys at that point, bringing this in. And of course, it is pretty vital that you have a lot of customers coming to your spot at that point. Being online, and this is what we can see from Gartner, is like 79% of today's purchase is really done with the methods of involving online search at that point. And looking also at the tapping points and touch points that we have in travel retail, we can see from studies that like 40% would like to online duty-free shop, or maybe even 53% make a decision before they're at a duty-free at an airport or an airline. And of course, when you book their flight, this is where, for example, Singapore taps in, that they have to pay to Ctrip, which is equivalent to Booking.com here in Europe, to have their tickets sold via their platform. But at the same time, they just have a small little JavaScript snippet, and we display a few products. And the passenger can purchase them while he's getting his ticket with Singapore Airlines. So tapping again into new revenue streams for an airline to become an e-commerce airline. Or Heathrow, for example, when you're on Google Maps looking for the stores, where's the Bulgari store? You tap on there, suddenly you're in the store, you can purchase a product, you can order it in advance to be sure that your Hugo Boss shirt or maybe your Cartier watch, it will be there in the store for me to pick up and then take back home. So the solution of OM3 brings along not only what we have seen in the video, but also on the other side, also the omnichannel marketing communication. This is what we do with then, of course, with Adobe products, with analytics and target and campaigning. It's like we see at websites, we have known shoppers, we have mall and Wi-Fi beacons at an airport. We see also brands coming along, sort of getting this knowledge about the single customer view. And then by the end of the day, we get them into the marketplace, and this is where we do the revenues. This is where revenues happen, where we have the big checkout, where they purchase a lot of products. And what we can see with Heathrow, it is like they have an average basket value of 500 to 600 pounds to a certain extent at some times. So as said, it's like we deliver to home, to gate, to lounge in a 45-minute window, which is really extraordinary. So Amazon does same day, we do like same hour delivery at that point. This is what we think is pretty vital in some business cases, what we can see with an omnichannel solution, bringing this along. And there again, we have all touch points with Frankfurt, real-time information about my flight information, because this is where passengers are interested in and looking at that point to say like, hey, when is my flight going? Oh, I can purchase something. Oh, I have to get into parking. I have to get a parking slot. Then again, sort of like we have loyalty at that point, bringing this also to a point that sort of like getting the customer data into my solution, because Frankfurt Airport has a lot of data and a lot of BI behind this, but they don't know about these passengers because they come there and it's been impulse driven so far. Now we're extending this even further before they get there, when they know they're going to fly via Frankfurt. Chinese or home people from Germany at that point looking at this. And then, of course, they offer the kind of services for disabled people, or maybe you want to buy with your loyalty points the service to be like driven with a BMW or a Porsche to the plane at that point to start your traveling at a more extended view at that point. With Singapore Airlines, and now this is getting really interesting at that point, is like, and that's what I've tapped into so far. So what we can see here, we can see like rewards programs, we can see targeted visual banners, promoted products, personalized recommendations, and then last but not least, in year 2020, this will be in the first planes and their in-flight systems as well. So while you're watching a video and you feel like bored or you come across it, so like, oh, I forgot to board whatever kind of present, you can purchase it on plane and take it back home as you leave the plane. Because we have like an 8 or 10 hours long haul flight, it leaves us enough time to get those products ready for the passengers to pick up at that time. The next story might be to say, like, I purchase all these luxury products, and how do I get this? Maybe I get them on my conveyor belt with a piece of luggage to be displayed and to take back home at that point. So there are a few other things looking at businesses as an airline, just looking at, I start off, take those people into the holidays and bring them back again, to extend that even further and use this kind of omni-channel and multi-channel solution at that point to bring this along. Last but not least, and this is where I'm closing today, is like what we've done so far in the industry of travel retail and for airlines, and we just started, so we're talking to many other airlines at that point. Of course, they're heavily interested into this because it's extra revenue. I mean, when you see like, okay, having your slots, having your fuel, also the carbon footprint is really tapping into at that point, making this revenues and the margin within selling tickets and travel and bringing passengers to one place to the other. It is more like the e-commerce that brings in revenues. And we can see like extraordinary EBITDA in the e-commerce compared to actually their 1 billion or whatever, 2, 3, 4, hundreds of billions of businesses they're doing with airplanes. So bringing this along, OM3, we bring this now into a B2X commerce solution, which we can use for automotive, in the telco, and the finance, or whatever kind of industries to bring along a solution at that point. Enabling B2C, B2B, or to partner, or B2B to C, or even though to employers at that point, and also bringing this then as a B2X, as an e-retailer, for example, bringing this into Amazon, another channel, bringing this in a procurement portal, because you have a lot of these B2B business that sell their products via a procurement portal, even though giving information for a call center, looking at an online marketplace solution, or maybe your own at that point. And of course, last but not least, integrating also your partners and suppliers. So it's a big ecosystem with any kind of industry at that point that may need a kind of a marketplace. What we see so far, most of them have an e-commerce solution here, have a PIM solution there, have a website here, but they're all different and all like applications separated. Maybe separated by the organization, because there you have IT, there you have marketing, and then you have like business units, and they're all separated. But bringing this together will enforce and unleash a much more bigger revenue stream that you can think of. And so even though tap into business cases you have not thought about today, as we can see with Singapore Airlines. They never thought of selling wine racks via drop shipment like 2 years ago. Now they can do this easily because it's just like integrated via API. And then this would be the same kind of idea that we have here. We have the unique customer single view that we can see like via portals, communities, brands, advertising, and so on. And then we can add like a price engine, which we have, like services, marketplace, logistic, fulfillment, partner services, finance, reports, and even though loyalty at that point. That's what we can bring along into the market, and this is where we're also talking to a few bigger clients and customers for a solution like this, because they have, as said, like different kind of applications everywhere in their architecture infrastructure, and also they're coming up with new business ideas and business cases that they have to cover in. And a digital platform like this will tap into these kind of revenue streams very easily, sending this out. So this is just giving you a bit of an idea and getting not too deep into technical stuff, as we are a system integrator and we develop this. As said, like we have like 300 people, like nearly 90% of them are developers. So we are also looking, as presented so far, into the business case. But how do you cover this kind of business case? It goes along with an architecture, and it goes along with e-commerce, with an order management system, with a PIM solution, with a My Account single sign solution, which is pretty vital also strategically, that we can see. You can do a single unique unifier with your customer if you have a decent single sign solution that comes along, and even connecting to LDAP and all these kind of things at that point. Then search, bringing along a lot of personalization, a CRM, and then of course you have like the services like price engine, automated or application workflows, multi-payment asset or invoice services, microservice API gateway. This is pretty vital to us. So to the front end, to the business service, and then to the backend system as SAP or parts of business intelligence. This is how it's all work. And then all of it is based on a cloud hosting, AWS and CDN, with all the pictures, videos, and all that kind of things. And all those components are modular. So it's not a monolithic solution. It is very flexible. So if a customer already has a PIM, might have a single sign-on, might have also some customer data, we can integrate to this and build this kind of solution, make it much more flexible, accordingly the IT architecture to their business cases and their business revenue streams and values they want to bring to the customer journey. Last but not least, we bring along a headless commerce with a product we call Flamingo, and based on Golang, also from common language from Google. And making headless means like we have like API microservices communicating then to B2C, to B, to employer, to partner, even though taking it further to e-retailer like Amazon and B2B or procurement portals, or even though other marketplace or partners at that point, making it much more flexible. Why a headless commerce in a framework like this? Because you also can add partners into this, connected via API, solving the need of your customers, that maybe a supplier has a product that your customer is also interested in, but you bring it in one marketplace solution and giving him an omnichannel experience at that point. Yes, thank you very much. This was it for me, from my point of view. Any questions, you are most welcome now. Talking about B2X and OM3, just to give a quick glimpse on this. Thank you very much. Go back to the slide again, to this one. Yeah, so involved. So the question was who's involved and who's on what are we covering? So of course we're covering. So we have like for example the airlines. That was your question with airlines, for example. Okay, so we bring in the retailer. The retailer means like he has all these products in his warehouse. We bring in the brands as well. Yeah, the retailer is also a kind of a logistic person that can do this, or then we even though bring in DHL or whoever, like logistic people at that point. But digitally, we cover this journey. And then we cover also the journey into the marketplace solution with the business services we have so far. And then, of course, we cover also the front end, so like bringing this to mobile. So maybe an airline already has a mobile. We just bring it in there, not creating another app for this experience. It's just an SDK, and then via API, all this goes into the front end. Even though if it's a partner, I mean, like with Ctrip, it's just like a JavaScript snippet where we display a few products accordingly to his flight destination where he's going to, and then we can do a recommendation. Once he's interested, he clicks on one, and then he gives us an identifier to say like, oh, I'm interested. And then we can even though personalize this journey to say, maybe while he's clicking in the store, we then can show him some widgets, via widgets, some personalized content at that point. So we're covering the whole customer journey from, hey, this is my touch point wherever I am, at home, at my holiday destination, in the cab, driving to the airport or to my flight destination, and then also then when I'm at home. So also the story is like, hey, I'm thinking about it right now, but also on the other day, it's like, I come back. So that's a good thing about airports and airlines. I come back. So you deliver it on return. So even that we cover. And then even though we say like, oh, you cannot pick it up, we can home deliver it via a logistic person. So this is what we cover digitally. The same with Auckland. It is like, we just cover the digital solution, so we can like bring in the retailer within a day, because it's just like a few bit of a configuration. And then he starts selling, and then he says like, oh, this is gonna go via Auckland Airport. So the customer doesn't get his product, it will be sealed off. He gets a barcode, and then via a logistic retailer, or even though a logistic partner, that brings it then to the collection point on airside. So it's like through customs, through security, and even though customs is very happy, because they know digitally and not on paperwork, when you do like tax refund and you wait like hours until you get your money back, that this passenger has picked up this parcel, these products, taking it to out of Auckland, out of the customs zone at that point. Pardon? Well, we don't need to. We're integrated, right? We like API or the booking level. Yeah, we can integrate that into our architecture. Like this is what we do at that point. So like, okay, when you purchase your booking ticket, yeah, the flight, I mean, we can integrate it. We have not done it so far because the Singapore airline is selling a lot of tickets also via SeatStreet from Booking.com and all these other kind of portals. But of course, they're pulling this back. I mean, we're talking also to Lufthansa, and they're heavily interested in this. They have all the data. Then, of course, I mean, as it is API-based, we can easily integrate to an existing solution at that point. But it doesn't need that much integration. SeatStreet is just a JavaScript snippet to say like, hey, we have some services, we have some products we can offer. Pardon? Yeah. Yeah, for example, Amadeus. Or at an airport, they have like a flight information system as well. So Amadeus only covers like until, I think, 80% of flight numbers at that point, and this will be covered then by the airport because they have much more data again. So we have to, even though, match this towards each other as well at that point. And an airline, of course, they know the passenger. That's pretty easy. I mean, for them, it's a much vital and much bigger story because, I mean, they have the passengers purchasing the ticket, and as soon as like he does his check-in, we know he's flying, and this is where you can tap in and then even though offer further products. So this is what we're doing as well. And this is what we're doing also integrating, for example, with Frankfurt Airport, also thinking about that, talking on a political level, Lufthansa and so forth, to see like how they can take this even a little bit step further. As said in the video, the quaternity, like having an airport, an airline, the brands, and the retailer in the story. But as always with this kind of digital solution, it taps in a lot of business and requirements at that point, but not only that, but also cultural and legal requirements. So sharing data and all these kind of things, entities that are maybe not they're one company, but they're collaborating not that closely with each other because of my job has to be safe. If I do that, I'm sharing something suddenly, and what does it mean to me? Yeah, and then, of course, as an airport, I start sharing my data with an airport. What does this mean to me? And these are topics that we can tap into, and we are a lot of heavily discussing. And then, of course, we bring along a technical solution like, look, guys, this is safe. This will happen. So we're not sharing data, we're just using this, and then you tell us what is allowed to share. So we're not talking about that we're doing this. It's just like, how do you want your business case cut? And we have an application, we have a product suite that can cover all this. Okay, any further questions so far? You've got my address, so if you do have, you can email me or contact me. Thank you very much for today.